In Chapter 7, we introduced income and substitution effects for budgets that are determined exogenously, where by exogenous we mean that you simply start out with some cash money budget. We'll now turn our analysis to endogenous budgets, or budgets that arise from the sale of an endowment. We first introduced such budgets in Chapter 3. We'll notice that the analysis doesn't actually change very much. Substitution effects will still move us along indifference curves, and income effects, which we'll now call wealth effects, will move us across indifference curves and across parallel budgets. We'll consider, as we did in Chapter 7, an increase in the price of gasoline. Only now we're going to assume that I own a bunch of gasoline. I own the endowment bundle E and derive all of my income from the sale of gasoline. The difference in what we do now compared to what we did in Chapter 7 is that when I own gasoline, an increase in the price of gasoline is something good for me, whereas when I didn't own gasoline, an increase in the price of gasoline was something bad for me. When the price of gasoline increases, my budget constraint then becomes steeper, but now it rotates through my endowment bundle E, since I can always afford that bundle. The steeper slope indicates, just as in Chapter 7, that the opportunity cost of consuming gasoline has increased. If I own gasoline and I consume some, I'm giving up the opportunity to sell that gasoline and turn it into other goods consumption. The difference from what we did in Chapter 7 is that now my budget has actually expanded because I own gasoline. Now notice one more thing. If you didn't know that these were endowment budgets, but you thought that these budgets were derived from some exogenous cash income, then you would actually conclude that the change from the blue to the magenta budget is derived from a decrease in the price of consumption. This too makes sense. If the price of gasoline increases, that means you'll have to give up less gasoline for any given amount of consumption. So consumption, in effect, has become cheaper for you. To begin our analysis of substitution and income or wealth effects, we begin just as we did in Chapter 7. We start with my original indifference curve tangent to the original budget constraint. This gives us our original optimal bundle A, the bundle of gasoline and other goods consumption that we consume before the price of gasoline goes up.